Welcome friends, it's October 2021 and apologies for the delay in getting this news to you. I've been suffering COVID for the last 3 weeks, as some of you may know. So I had attempted to do the 12 signs, but unfortunately this cough and my inability to breathe all that easily has slowed me down quite a bit. Firstly, it's a very, very nasty virus. You don't want to get it. I've had a lot of strange emails from friends and strangers alike. You know, obviously well-intentioned, suggesting different sorts of remedies to help me overcome and recover, including drinking hydrogen peroxide. I don't know. Someone will probably tell me to eat dog shit off the side of the road. So I haven't taken every bit of advice. I've been taking oxygen. Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, there's been just an overwhelming, I'd call it a collapse of the system here. So when they rushed me to the the hospital, it was more or less a makeshift tent where the doctor didn't even talk to me. They took a quick x-ray. They found that my lungs weren't that bad, and they basically shoved me in a jeepney, one of those old style buses, and sent me home. So I've, for the most part, been here recovering alone. A few friends have been dropping some food off at the door. It's funny feeling like an outcast, but that's exactly what it is. And when you've got such a contagious virus, you don't want others to catch it. So I was pretty much like that for 15, 16 days, just completely out of it, and really, really ill. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. I'd had the first vaccine of Moderna, and I suspect I got the virus at one of the centres there where you go to get your vaccination. So my horoscope hasn't been altogether all that good, and we see here my personal opinion as an astrologer. As my grandmaster once said, destiny is an interesting thing, because try as hard as you will to make something happen, if it's not destined to happen, it just can't happen. But try as hard as you will to stop something happening in your fate, no amount of effort will stop that event or destiny happening. And my experience is very much like that. It seems like that I'm simply a spectator in this interesting roller coaster ride called life. I'm wondering what your thoughts on that are. Right now, I just wanted to quickly look. I don't know how much energy I have to finish this, because it's a little difficult for me to breathe still. But we see the natural zodiac here for Aries, with this cluster of planets, including retrograde Mercury in the 7th house. I'll just quickly go through, if I could, the 3 important points this month. That's the new moon on the pardon me, the new moon on the 6th, which takes place in Libra, the full moon on the 21st, which takes place in Aries, and that follows on the heels of the retrograde Mercury going direct on the 19th. So these 3 factors are all happening across this Aries Libra axis. So for you Aries, if you're watching, this has a lot to do with your relationships. And Mercury's not the only pardon me, the only planet that's retrograde right now. You can see here Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, and of course the nodes are generally in a retrograde motion. But that's a lot of retrograde energy for all of us. And I dare say many of us are going through a period of deep self-reflection, looking at, where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. I think not just individually, but as a culture, as a society, as a world, there's a dichotomizing effect, and we're never all going to have the same opinions. For you, Aries, this bunch of astrological transits, the direct motion of Mercury, new moon and the full moon influence your relationships in a big way. Taurus, this area here has to do with your health, your vitality, and the way in which you do your work. So the new moon, forward motion of Mercury, and the full moon will have to do with your work and also your service, because the sixth house has to do with the quality of your work and what you're providing others. Please excuse me, sorry. The full moon in your 12th house on the 21st is an enhanced form of self-reflection and meditation. The 12th house is a form of retreat. So this is an important period for you to really re-establish your values and what it is you want to do. Gemini, whatever problems you've had here relate to your 5th house. The retrograde Mercury has caused you to reflect on your relationships, the way in which you express yourself and your creativity. Gemini parents, this has to do with your children. And so these transits for you have a strong bearing on this area of your life throughout October. Cancer, these transits, the direct motion of Mercury, the new and the full moon, have to do with your domestic sphere. And of course, Cancer is well known for its association with domestic affairs. This is a very important turning point for you. And it shows your commitment to family life and finding some domestic peace and happiness. But only after this retrograde Mercury has caused you to seriously rethink where you're at in the timeline of your life and your destiny. Big changes are afoot there, especially because we've seen these combative planets, Mars and Sun, also in this area. And that goes for all of the star signs that I'm talking about. Leo, the 3rd house, possessing this retrograde Mercury, which will go direct on the 19th, has a lot to say about your communication style, the way you've been sharing your ideas with others. You've been considering how you can be more impactful in that area of your life. And that's important because communication is the bridge between yourself and others. It's the key to solving a lot of the problems that you have. And often under the retrograde Mercury, misunderstandings are quite likely. And it's good that after this direct motion of Mercury, you can expect some enhanced, clarified sort of communication, agreements, and so on and so forth. Virgo, the 2nd house, is activated during these transits. And the retrogression of Mercury shows your second guessing the way you've been earning, the reason you've been earning, the way in which you've been doing that. The direct motion of Mercury on the 19th, along with the full moon and the new moons, will impact this whole area of finance and income. So it's an important turning point for you in terms of the way that you structure your finances. You've possibly been spreading yourself thin, shown by the multitude of planets here. Once that new moon comes in, you'll have a clearer idea of what you want to do and the mechanics of how you can earn more money, and earn money in the way that it's more in keeping with who you are as a person. Libra, these transits are important for you in terms of your self-development. As the new moon and the direct motion of Mercury take place in your sun sign of Libra, this is pertinent to your identity, who you are as a person. And so these transits will definitely have you shining the torchlight of awareness back in on yourself, looking at ways and means by which you can be more impactful in terms of your personality, in terms of your identity. Finding who you are will be an important component of these transits. And that is really the beginning of a new chapter in your life. The story of your destiny and how you're going to maneuver that, if that's at all possible, as I said in the beginning. But certainly how you manage your destiny, whether it's within or without your control, is also pretty significant. Scorpio, the transit of Venus jumps out at me because of my sickness, ruling this 12th house of illness. Some of you may not have been feeling well. And also because this retrograde / direct motion of Mercury occurs in the 12th house. Pardon me, along with that new moon. It can show a whole new approach to the way you've been looking at your own health and vitality. The way also in which you've been expending your energy, because this 12th house has a lot to say about your resources, not just material resources, but your psychic, spiritual, and time resources, resource of love and compassion, and the understanding of those who are deserving or not. Maybe you've been indiscriminate in the way you've been dishing that out. Now that will change. Sagittarius, you're in for a big change in terms of your friendships, relationships with others, the network of people that you have influence over and who have influence over you. And the direct motion of Mercury shows a very significant change in the way that you deal with those people. Also the type of people that you wish to invite into your circle will change. That will happen predominantly after the new moon, which I've mentioned occurs on the 6th. Capricorn, career is very, very important right now. But there's probably also been considerable indecision in that area, shown by that retrograde Mercury. When the new moon takes place, as it will on the 6th, for you, this can be a turning point. It can be a very decisive move in one direction or another. And the decision may be made to make some big change at this time in your life. That's going to hinge also on the full moon of the 21st, which takes place in your domestic sphere. Of course, when we make changes in our professional direction, that has to be countered and balanced with what's happening in our personal life, with the people that we love, our family members, and so on. Aquarius, the 9th house, is where all these transits take place for you. And this is important because the 9th house is also, to a large extent, your main value system, your beliefs. I dare say many of you, especially because Saturn and Uranus, your two ruling planets, have been retrograde now, along with the retrogression of Mercury, that you're having some serious reconsideration about how to plug your value system into the practical affairs of your life. That's not been easy. The forward motion of Mercury, though, makes you more decisive. And the self-reflection you've been going through gives you the equipment, the psychic equipment that you need to bring those belief systems down into practical reality. That will be a very, very positive turning point for you. Finally, Pisces. The 8th house is a transformative house. These transits, the direct motion of Mercury, the new moon, occur in your 8th house. This is what you share with others. And to the extent that you come to some conclusive insights into the best way that you can develop a win-win situation in that respect, the direct motion of Mercury will be useful for you. The full moon on the 21st takes place here in your 2nd house of income. So that's possibly an aha moment for you, in which you realize that there are ways and means in which you can connect your inner self and your creative self to the work at hand. That's important, because I say to people, focusing on the money is the back end round of what should be happening if you're looking for satisfaction and success in the work that you do. It should primarily come from doing what you love, becoming great at what you do, and then watching the flow-on effects from that materially. I must again apologise. It's been a very disjointed sort of reading. I've had to just condense this down. I'm hoping next month I'll feel a lot better. I've been taking oxygen several times a day, which is slowly helping me to recover my lung capacity. And to all of you I say, just stay safe. Don't get into arguments over COVID. Just stay safe. Remain healthy and happy. And I look forward to your company next month. Take care for now. Bye-bye.